Can growing older actually cost you more than just money? And are these hidden prices silently shaping your life after 60? Aging is often painted in soft, golden hues, a time of retirement, relaxation, and well-deserved reflection. The world expects us to embrace this chapter with open arms, to savor slow mornings and reminisce about a life well lived. But behind this comforting facade lies a complex tapestry of costs that society rarely acknowledges. These are not just the visible expenses, the medical bills, or the checks written to cover daily needs. There's a deeper, more subtle price paid in the currency of emotion, identity, and dignity. This is the true cost of aging, and it remains largely unspoken. Imagine, for a moment, what it feels like to become invisible. For decades, you might have been the pillar of your family, the expert in your field, the friend everyone called for advice. Yet, as the years pass, you notice a subtle shift. Conversations happen around you, not with you. At the doctor's office, questions are directed to your adult children instead of you. In the bright, bustling aisles of a tech store, your questions are met with impatience or patronizing smiles. In a world obsessed with youth, the elderly become background noise, their voices soften to a whisper. Each overlooked moment, each dismissive glance, adds cease to a silent tally of self-doubt. This invisibility breeds a loneliness that is hard to explain to those who have not yet felt it. Friendships that once seemed unbreakable fade as loved ones move away, fall ill, or pass on. The shared laughter of old companions becomes a memory, and making new connections feels daunting. Social circles shrink, and the world, once vibrant and full of possibilities, feels smaller, quieter. The grief of losing a sense of purpose is a companion that few are prepared to meet. For many, work was not just a means to an end, but a source of identity, challenge, and pride. Retirement, while freeing in many ways, can also leave a chasm, a question mark where there once was certainty. But aging's cost isn't paid only in solitude. There is the strain of pretending to be okay when you're not. Society expects its seniors to be gracious, uncomplaining, and eternally grateful for any help they receive. There is an unspoken pressure to remain upbeat, to insist that these are the golden years, even when the days feel heavy. To acknowledge struggle, sadness, or fear is to risk being labeled bitter or ungrateful. And so, many suffer in silence, hiding their pain to spare others discomfort. Age discrimination, too, is an everyday reality. It rarely announces itself with obvious malice. Instead, it creeps in through offhand comments, missed opportunities, and closed doors. Job applications go unanswered, even for those with decades of expertise. Invitations dry up, as if adventure and curiosity are traits reserved only for the young. The world subtly insists that certain dreams, passions, or ambitions are too late to pursue. The energy it takes to push back against these messages can be exhausting. Autonomy, once taken for granted, becomes fragile. As health concerns mount, adult children may begin making decisions, sometimes with the best intentions, but not always with the full consent of their parents. What to eat, where to live, what activities are safe. These choices, once yours alone, are now matters for family debate. To lose control over your own life is a cost that cannot be measured in dollars. Perhaps one of the hardest prices to pay is the quiet suffering of watching a partner's health decline. The couple who once danced together, planned adventures, and shared dreams must now navigate hospital visits, medication schedules, and the slow erosion of shared routines. The healthy partner is expected to be strong, to carry the weight of two, all while suppressing their own fears and grief. The psychological toll of sorting through a lifetime of memories alone, of packing away photographs and keepsakes, is a burden few anticipate. And then there is the guilt. The world is quick to celebrate the wisdom of elders, but slower to acknowledge the pain many feel for needing help, for moving slowly, for forgetting things, for outliving friends and siblings. There is guilt for being a burden, for not living up to the image of the cheerful, independent senior. The pressure to age gracefully becomes another weight to bear. Yet, what if we refuse to accept this narrative of decline? What if aging could be an act of fierce rediscovery, a time not to fade but to shine with a new kind of light? Around the world, there are seniors who dare to defy expectations. They speak out when ignored, travel solo across continents, fall in love again, launch businesses, master new technologies, and dance with abandon long after their hair has turned silver. Their stories remind us that the real cost of aging is not in the body's changes, but in the silence that surrounds their struggles. It is only when we start to name these hidden costs, the fear, the invisibility, the isolation, that we can begin to heal. This is not about being negative or dwelling on what is lost. It is about being real, honest, and brave enough to voice the challenges that come with age. By speaking openly, we take back control. We remind ourselves and each other that dignity, purpose, and joy do not have an expiration date. So perhaps the greatest wealth that comes with age is not just the wisdom accumulated over a lifetime, but the courage to break the silence, to demand to be seen, heard, and valued, to refuse to pay the price of invisibility or irrelevance, to recognize that while aging will always bring change and challenge, it can also bring liberation, the freedom to rewrite our own story. Ask yourself, what hidden costs are you carrying? What silent burdens have you accepted as inevitable? And when will you decide to stop paying that price? The moment you choose to speak out, to reach for new dreams, to reclaim your autonomy and your joy, you become unstoppable. Because aging, at its core, is not a decline but a transformation. And the power to define it is and always will be yours.